Welcome to English 2010 for week 4. This video will discuss an annotated bibliography. So let's talk about what an annotated bibliography is. First, let's maybe start by talking about each individual word and its word parts. So bibliography, we're already probably familiar that graphy has to do with writing. So bibliography, biblio means book. So bibliography means writing about books. Bibliography, in its most basic sense, is a list of books. Bibliographies are often written to provide readers with a list of books and other sources that are related to a topic. Sometimes when someone's going to study a topic, they may want a list of books that would be useful to learn about that topic. So bibliography can be used in that way. Now let's talk about the other word, annotated. We know that this word is used as a past participle or the past tense form of the verb to annotate. And to annotate has a root in there, the note, to make notes of. So an annotated bibliography is a list of books or sources with notes about those books and sources. So this is a little bit different than a works cited list that you may have done in English 1010. In your works cited list, you made a list or full references to all of the sources that you used in a paper. And in a sense, that's similar to a bibliography, except that a bibliography could be any books on a subject, not just books that were used in a research paper. But the difference between an annotated bibliography and a regular bibliography is that the annotated bibliography includes usually a short paragraph that summarizes some useful information about the book. What kinds of information? Well, let's talk about that. You can see here a small picture of an example annotated bibliography. Now it has the source listed at the top in some kind of format, such as MLA or APA. And then below it, we see a short summary. Now, that summary could contain multiple things. One, it could just be a quick, maybe 1 or 2 sentence summary of the main idea of the source. And so that's where we get the summary part. But many people go beyond that short summary and they will provide other information, such as the quality of the source. Is this a useful source? Does it have good, reliable information that we could trust? Is it current, or is this really old and the information in it is outdated and we don't really want it for our topic that we are studying? The other thing that we may want to include in our annotated bibliography, particularly if we're doing it for our own research preparation, is a relevance sentence or more. So here we're answering the question of how much does the information in this source relate to the topic that we want to study? Is it connected to our research paper? Or did we read the source? It's really interesting, it's really useful, but it doesn't really have anything that connects to the argument that you want to make. It doesn't provide any information that will help you explain your topic or better understand it. So in that relevant section, we may also want to include any quotes from the source that are relevant. Think, wow, I read this in the source and I think this would be a great thing to include in my paper. You could make that part of your annotated bibliography at the end, right? Maybe some sources, or at least paraphrase some important ideas from the source. And whether you paraphrase or you do a direct quote in quotation marks, it's always helpful to put the page number or some kind of reference to where in the source you found that information, so that then when you're ready to use that information in your paper, you'll be more easily able to find it. And if you decide to quote it, you'll be able to use it more easily when you do write your paper. So that's the annotated bibliography. It's a list of sources related to your topic that you may or may not use in your paper. Right now, you're just reading sources, summarizing them, and trying to find out if they're useful or not. And so every source you read can go into the annotated bibliography, even if you don't end up using that source in your final paper. And that's what makes it different than the works cited list. A works cited list is only the papers or only the sources that you used in your paper. And in the annotated bibliography, instead of just the reference information, you also provide that 1 or 2 paragraphs that summarize the source, talk about its quality and its relevance to your topic. So that's your goal this week, is to read at least 5 sources that might be related to your topic. You can use the sources that I provide. You can use sources that you find on your own. You want to create one annotated bibliography entry for each of those sources. You may also be doing an annotated bibliography in your Info 10 class, and that's okay to use some of the same material in that course, because the purpose of the Info 10 class is to help you with the research you're doing in this class. So if you have a similar assignment in both of these 2 courses, it's okay to borrow some of that work from both of the classes. If you have any questions about your annotated bibliography, please contact me and let me know. But I'm looking forward to seeing what you learn from your sources.